What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Fish Aquatics. Today I'm going to be talking about the bacterial and fungal treatments known as Melafix and Pimafix. Alright guys, so Melafix and Pimafix. If you're not familiar with what these products are, they are natural remedies for bacterial and fungal infections. This is what they look like, and I'm sure everybody that's watching this video has seen these products at least once. They are in almost every fish store, and they are widely popular, and I'm not 100% sure why, but we're going to get into that. So I just want to talk real quick about how I was introduced to these products. And this was way back when I was really young, probably about 14 years old. I had a 55-gallon aquarium with two big orandas in there, and one of them ended up getting stuck behind one of my ornaments and developed a large red sore on its side. So I didn't really know what to do because it started getting a white patchiness to it, which is the start of a bacterial infection, and then it started getting a white fluffiness to it, which is a fungal infection. So I went to PetSmart, which was the only store I was familiar with at the time, and spoke to the person there, and they said, you want Melafix and Pimafix, which are bacterial and fungal treatments. So I took them home, dosed them per the instructions on the back of the bottles, and added them to the tank. And the tank started getting this eucalyptus-y oil smell, and it started getting a lot of bubbles on the surface, which I was told that is perfectly normal because of the way that the medications are. And the one thing that I kind of liked about the products at the time was it claims on them that they will not affect the biological filtration of the aquarium. And being new to the hobby, I knew that the biological filtration was very sensitive and very essential for an aquarium to be, well, running and healthy. So those are kind of the reasons that I picked those two products over anything else, plus it's what was recommended to me. So that's why I got them. That's how I was introduced to them. Now, unfortunately, they didn't work. And I couldn't understand why they didn't work, because it says that they're supposed to treat these things, and maybe it was something I was doing wrong, and that was that. I almost got out of the hobby because of it, because it was one of my favorite fish, but I didn't, obviously. And things progressed forward. And I ended up never using those medications again. And what I want to do today is I want to talk to you guys about what these medications are, what they do and don't treat, and give you guys a little bit of information about them so you can make an educated decision on if you want to use them in your aquarium or not. So the first thing that I want to talk about with these are natural remedies, right? They're made out of plant and tree oils to try and treat bacterial and fungal infections, and they are labeled as natural remedies, right? Now, one thing that both of these products do is they both decrease oxygen levels in the water, so you'll have to increase aeration while you're dosing these, which is essentially because these medications are actually changing the water structure, is why you get all of the bubbles and foam on the surface of the aquarium. Alright, so the first one of these that I really want to talk about is going to be the Melafix, which is the bacterial treatment from API. It's a natural remedy, and the ingredients in this, and I'm probably going to butcher the pronunciation of this, is cajeput oil, also known as tea tree oil. And the way it works is you dose it into the tank, and it fights off and kills bacterial infections. And it's pretty straightforward. But I can't find a list anywhere of what specific bacterial infections that this medication treats. So I did a lot of research online and came up empty-handed. And what I did find is that there was a gentleman that talked to an API representative to try and get some of this information, and even he was not given a full list because the gentleman who he spoke to did not know. And what he was told was that API Melafix only kills some bacteria. Irrespective from the gram strain results, the bacteria that is thwarted by Melafix is a very finite group. Now, for those of us that speak English and are not scientists, what he said was Melafix only treats very few bacteria, right? Now, you also probably heard me say gram strain results. Now, gram strains, you have gram-positive strains of bacteria and gram-negative strains of bacteria. And there's a bunch of different bacteria kinds in each one of those strains, and API Melafix treats a couple in the gram-positive and none in the gram-negative. So essentially, those few that are treated in the gram-positive are what he was talking about. Now, what does that mean? That means that Melafix is normally advertised as a broad-spectrum bacterial remedy, and it is far from that. It only treats a very few bacteria infections as opposed to the full scale of all the bacterial infections that you could possibly have. So this is why many fish keepers go to use Melafix and it does not work, because it does not treat the specific strain of bacteria that your fish has. But a couple aquarists will go out and use this product and be successful. That's why there's so much yes it works, no it doesn't work back on the internet, because some people have success with it and others don't, and that's where everybody butts heads, because this is advertised as a broad spectrum and it is not. So I went a little further and did a little digging in the FDA, and the FDA claims that it is safe and effective at doing what it advertises that it does, which it does kill some bacteria. So I guess yes, it does do what it claims it does. That being said, it is not the full spectrum of bacteria. It is just a very narrow spectrum of bacteria, not a broad spectrum. So the next one that I want to talk about is Pimafix, which is used for treating fungal infections. Now, the main ingredients in this, there's two main ingredients, and the first one is Pimenta racemosa, which is a plant. It's an oil derived from that, and clove oil. Now, clove oil, there's probably a bunch of alarms going off in your heads, because clove oil is used to euthanize fish in the aquarium hobby. If you have a fish that is very ill or very injured, you can use clove oil to euthanize it humanely and put your fish to sleep, right? And I was very concerned that they use clove oil in this product, so I did a little research as to why, and here's how these products work together. The Pimenta racemosa inhibits the fungus from doing anything, essentially putting it to sleep but not killing it off. So basically what that does is any fungus that's growing, it stops it from growing and stops it from spreading, but does not kill it. So you'll have to use something else to kill it, like aquarium salt or some other outside source. And the clove oil is an anesthetic and reduces the stress in a fish during treatment. Now, I do know clove oil is used as an anesthetic if you have to have surgery on a fish, or if you need to aspirate a swim bladder or something like that. You dose it some clove oil, and then you do your treatment, and then you revitalize and revive the fish in fresh water, and it will come back to life. As long as you don't use too much of it, which will then euthanize the fish. So it's a very gray area on those two things. Now, according to the FDA with this product, it has not been found effective by the FDA in doing what it claims it does, which is treating fungal infections, which is true because it doesn't actually kill any fungal infections, it just stops it from advancing. And according to all this information, that essentially means that Pimafix does nothing. So that's basically what these two different medications do, right? So there's not a lot of scientific research done by API on what these products actually treat. And the reason that they don't have all of this scientific data is because there's other companies that are out there that have done the research on these products and have actually disproven the claims that API says that these products do what they claim they do, which is where I got all of the information that I just provided to you guys about the two products. And API doesn't want to do these tests because they don't want to disprove their own claims that these products work. So that's why API does not have specific strains listed for their product to show what they're actually effective against. Now, something else to note is that in rare cases, this product can actually cause more harm than good in the aquarium when treating them. And the reason is because both of these products are organic compounds, because they're a tea tree oil and a plant oil. And when you add these into an aquarium, there are some strains of bacteria that will actually use these as food, right? So what's going to happen is this bacteria is going to bloom, and you're going to get a bacterial bloom. Your tank's going to get cloudy, and the bacteria is using this as food, and in order to consume it, it has to use oxygen. So it's going to use oxygen, it's going to consume these medications, and it is going to remove that oxygen from the tank and not allow your fish to utilize it. So now not only is your fish suffering from a bacterial infection or fungal infection, but they would now be also suffering from asphyxiation because there's not enough oxygen in the water to support them unless you add in additional aeration to the aquarium. Now, that is a very rare case and depends on if you have that certain strain of bacteria in your aquarium. Now, one last point I want to make is that these products you are never going to see in a professional environment. So if you were to go to an aquarium or a person that cleans aquariums professionally or something like that, they are not going to carry around PeeMafix and Melafix to treat customers or the business's fish. And the reason for that is because there's no information out there that says what these products actually treat. So they're not going to go and waste money on a product to go out and treat something that they don't know if it actually is going to work. That's why most of these companies are going to use much more specific medications and actual medications, not natural remedies, like erythromycin, praziquantel, metronidazole, Canaplex, things like that. They're going to use actual medications to treat the afflictions that these fish have, to actually heal them. They're not going to take a gamble on a product just because it's a natural remedy. So my opinion on these products is that they are a snake oil product. I do not necessarily believe in them. I would rather use an actual medication to treat any issues that my fish might have. I have used these in the past. Like I said earlier, they didn't work for me, and obviously now, with the information that I provided you guys, you can make an educated decision on if they would be beneficial medications for you guys to use. But personally, I know I will not be keeping them in my fish room based on the information that I've gathered and information that is provided to me. Now, all of this being said, there's an easier way to treat these bacterial and fungal infections, and that's just by doing a lot of water changes, keeping your water nice and clean, and treating with aquarium salt. 1 tablespoon per 3 gallons up to 2 tablespoons per 3 gallons is going to take care of a majority of these bacterial and fungal infections, and you're actually going to have better success than using Melafix and Pimafix. And it's not as hard on the fish, even though these medications don't really do a whole lot. They are changing your water structure. They could stress your fish out, where aquarium salt is just going to build up the slime coat on the fish and also fight the bacterial and fungal infections, which is just going to naturally remove it anyway. So that being said, that's my personal choice when it comes to bacterial and fungal infections as opposed to the Melafix and Pimafix. So let me know what you guys think about these products down in the comment section. Leave a like on the video, and thank you guys for watching Trap Fish Aquatics. I will see you guys in the next video.